Hello, stamping friends. This is Lisa at Live and Let Stamp. I'm glad to share a card with you this morning. We're doing some SIP stamping today. So SIP, S-I-P, is stamps, ink, and paper. I do SIP Plus because I add a little bit of bling too, but no specialized tools like embossing or die cutting. All you need is a paper cutter that can cut a straight line. So I decided to use this Quiet Reflection set, which I think makes a beautiful stamp, just kind of peaceful. And I really love the variety of sentiments on this set because it includes one that says the friendship of a pet is one of life's greatest gifts. And I don't know if you've ever lost a pet, but you definitely need some TLC and some love when you have lost a pet, because it's like losing a member of the family. It has some religious sentiments, and this is a nice one I used on this card. To remember is to give life to those we loved and lost. Praying for his comfort to soften the sadness and bring you peace. God is our refuge and strength. And then it has You're on My Mind and Sorry for Your Loss, which is what I used on this one. So another difference between these two cards is I did some ink splattering here, and I asked a couple days ago which one you guys preferred, and definitely was the splattered ink one. So I want to show you how I did that today. And I am going to use a kind of specialized tool for that, and that's a water painter. But these are not very expensive to purchase, and you can even just use a regular paintbrush if you have one of those. So let's go ahead and get started. Our color is boho blue. This is one of the in colors from last year that will still be able to purchase for this year. I thought that was a nice peaceful color. Our card base is going to be on white, so you want to use the thick white on a card base. The basic white is more so for like doing the layers of your card. The thick is what you want for a card base. So we're just going to do a standard A2 card. So I'm going to get my paper cutter. We're going to cut this at 5.5. And then we're gonna put that blade up at the top, and we're going to use our scoring blade, which lives down on the bottom of your cutter, which is great because you never have to take them off, so you don't lose them. I've yet to lose my scoring blade or a cutting blade. So I'm gonna go ahead and score that up and back to get a nice score at 4 1/4. And then you want to fold that toward the bump. So the bump is here, and you always want to fold toward the bump. Bury the bump, as they say. So it's always nice to have a bone folder to make a nice crease there on our card. You can even kind of use your bone folder if it's not quite perfectly even to make it even. So that's going to be our card base. Next, we're going to go to our boho blue. Now, our boho blue matte is going to be 5 by 3 3/4. So this piece should work nicely. Always save your scraps. 5 by 3 3/4. I wanted plenty of white to show around the outside, so this kind of, makes the layer pop, but gives it that nice white frame. The white layer, and for this, you can use the thick white if you want to, but if you don't want to use the thick white, you can go ahead and just use basic white, and that is going to be 4 3/4 by 3.5. So 4 3/4 by 3.5. Okay. second here. Okay. Our sentiment, I think we'll do the pet sentiment. Let's go ahead and do the pet sentiment. So I'm going to get my black ink pad. I think I hear a cat sneaking in. And I just have this little piece of white. And my sad, who's coming in? I scared him off. That was funny. Okay, so the pet sentiment is this one. So I'm gonna just need a small block for that. Let's see if that will work. Yep. This is the G block. To ink it up a bit, not too hard, and let's go ahead and stamp. That looks good. Let me do it one more time, and then I'll pick the one I like the best. Yep, that one's a little darker. I think I'm gonna go with this one. So I said this was simple stamping, so we're not going to die cut. We're just going to use our paper cutter. So it's a little crooked. I'm going to try to get it. I'm going to use this little line on my paper cutter there to try to get it nice and straight. And once you get the first straight one cut, it's a breeze to cut the rest because you just push it along this edge. Yeah, I'll do it this way. So we lift, nope, this one. Try to cut it about the same distance on both sides. So before I had a die cutter, that's how I did all my cards. Look, I'm turning green. You can see I was crafting with green earlier today. Either that or I'm playing Elphaba on a local showing of Wicked. And that's definitely not happening. Inky fingers. You get used to inky fingers. If you have the Stampin' Chamois and you have an inky finger, you can use the chamois to clean off your finger. Won't remove it if it's stained. That'll take a couple days, but you can use that on your hands, which is nice. So I'm going to go back to my boho blue, and I've just got this little piece. And I'm just going to lay it on here because I just want to match my sentiment. So about there looks good. Eyeball this. Voila. You can go ahead and glue that on. I'm going to use liquid glue so it has a little give so I can make sure it's straight on the blue. Right there. Move it a little up. That's what's nice with the liquid glue. You have a little teensy bit of time to adjust. Wonderful. So we have our sentiments. Now let's get to those splatters. Okay, so this is my panel that I want to splatter. And I'm going to use boho blue so everything matches. And I'm going to show you a couple techniques. If you have the ink refill, you can drop a dot of the ink refill either on a glass mat, which is awesome, or on the inside of your ink pad, right on the lid. But let's say you don't have a re-inker. What you do, you can either press this down on your glass mat or squeeze your stamp pad together and you can get some ink in the lid. So that's what I decided to do. Now this is a water painter. So what you do is you unscrew the top and you fill the bottom with water. Okay, so you can see there's water in there. And then you put this back on. And I'm just going to move this to the side for a second while I practice. So now when you squeeze, you'll get a little bit of water. I don't know if you can see that little bit of water coming out. Okay, so there's water on my finger. So we want to put that a drop of water here, kind of move it around. And I'm just going to tap this on my finger. See the splatters? Love it. Okay, it'll be on the back. Those splatters, but that won't matter because we're going to glue that down. Okay, so let's pick some up. Ooh, that was kind of a big one. How's that? Okay. Hopefully you can see those splatters that we put on there. Okay, and then you can wipe the top of this out, especially if you've got a lot of water. You don't want it to get on your ink pad, you know, and dilute your ink pad. So you can just wipe it out with a microfiber cloth or paper towel or baby wipe or whatever you have handy. Okay. Now we're ready to stamp the reflection picture. So it comes with two. This one's a little larger. This is the one that I used. So I'm going to use that one because I think it just fits nicely on the card with the sentiment popped up above it. So I'm going to get a block. This is my D block. That looks good. And I'm just going to use my paper here for a practice, just to make sure I like how it's going. Okay, so I'm going to ink up and stamp. Okay, so it got kind of darker here. Oh, that's what it's supposed to do. You can tell this is a distinctive stamp. Okay. What happens if I stamp off? It makes it a little lighter. I kind of like the darker though. All right. So we're going to put that right over here, ink it up a bit, and stamp. And there it is. All right, we're ready to put this card together. Simple. Stamps, ink, paper, and a little bit of bling. So I'm going to put this on our boho blue mat. I'm going to use some stamp and seal for this. A little on the sides and in the four corners. A little on the long sides. Okay. Now I'm going to use dimensionals to pop this up and give it some, oh wait, I have to put it on the card base. Hold on. Let's go ahead and put it on the card base. Okay. Make sure it's opening the correct direction. I've made that mistake before. Oh, always fun. Okay, now let's pop this on there. And I'm going to use this to cover that big splatter that I didn't like right there. So that kind of comes in handy. I'm going to use my dimensionals. Just need 2, 1 on each side. Peel off the backing. And put that on. I think it's a little crooked. You have a little bit of time to pull that off before it really sets in. And now the plus bling. So we have stamps, ink, paper, and a little bit of bling. And for that, I am using, these are the 2023 to 25 in color opaque sparkle dots. So these are the in colors that are good for 1 more year. And there's the boho blue. I'm gonna use my tool here, the spatula tool, to pick them up. And I know I want to put 2 on this side. Try to balance it out. Cat fur. I want to balance it out. So a couple here, and then I just like 1 here. Odd numbers seem to work really great. I don't always do odd, but it does seem to do really well when you do odd numbers. And that's it. That is the card. It is ready to write your sentiment inside and mail that to someone to make them know you're thinking about them when they've suffered a loss of a pet. So thank you for joining me today. Again, this is the Quiet Reflection stamp set. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.